Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another short episode of History and Truth. Today we will start with Canada Day. On July 1st, 1867, the first four provinces of Canada, including Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Quebec, which is then called Lower Canada, and Ontario, which is then called Upper Canada, joined together under the fine leadership of Sir John A. Macdonald to form the nation of Canada. This was done under the auspices of Queen Victoria, against the wishes of the British Parliament. Within the next few years, the country would stretch from sea to sea, and the final member province, Newfoundland, joined Confederation in 1949. Also on July 1st, 1916, we will commemorate the first day of the Battle of the Somme. On this day, the Somme offensive began during the First World War, involving the armies of the British Empire and the French Republic on one side, and the German Empire on the other. It took place between July 1st and November 18, 1916, on both sides of the upper reaches of the River Somme in France. The battle was intended to hasten a victory for the Allies. More than 3 million men fought in the battle, of whom 1 million were either wounded or killed, making it one of the deadliest battles in all of human history. On the first day of the Somme, July 1st, the German Second Army suffered a serious defeat opposite the French Sixth Army. From Faucourt-en-Santerre, south of the Somme, to Maricourt on the north bank, and by the French Fourth Army from Maricourt to the vicinity of the Albert-Bapaume Road. The British Army, however, had very little success. The British Army suffered 57,470 casualties, including 19,240 killed. This was the worst day in history of the British Army. The surrender of Singapore on February 15, 1942 had 80,000 British and Commonwealth soldiers captured, although there were only about 5,000 killed or wounded. At the end of the battle in November, the British and French forces had penetrated only 6 miles, 10 kilometers. In relation to Canada, as a promise to join Confederation in 1949, the Battle of Beaumont-Hamel on July 1st, 1916, as part of the Battle of the Somme, was significant to Newfoundland. At about 9:15 a.m., the Royal Newfoundland Regiment, as part of the British 29th Division, began advancing from a trench known as St. John's Road. This was a reserve trench, so they had advanced across 200 meters before they even got to the actual British frontline trench. Then they had 500 meters of no man's land with tangles of barbed wire covered by German machine guns and infantry, not notified by the artillery bombardment. Many died, in particular at a point called the Danger Tree, where German artillery had the location already zeroed in on. Of about 800 Newfoundlanders advancing, only 110 managed to not get hit, and only 68 were available for roll call the next day. No ground was taken. The commander of the 29th British Division said of the actions of the Newfoundland Regiment on that July morning, "It was a magnificent display of trained and disciplined valor, and its assault only failed of success because dead men can advance no further." The next commemoration is the American Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776. The Declaration of Independence, titled the Unanimous Declaration of the 13 United States of America, is the founding document of the United States. It was adopted on July 4th, 1776 by the Second Continental Congress, meeting in Pennsylvania State House in Philadelphia. later renamed Independence Hall. The Declaration explains to the world why the 13 colonies regarded themselves as independent sovereign states, no longer subject to British colonial rule. The 56 delegates who signed were referred to as the Founding Fathers and were from all 13 colonies. Thank you. The next thing we will observe is Japan's Tanabata. Tanabata, meaning the evening of the 7th, also known as the Star Festival, is a Japanese festival originating from the Chinese Chixi Festival. It celebrates the meeting of the deities Orihime and Hikoboshi, represented by the stars Vega and Altair. According to the legend, the Milky Way separates these lovers, and they are allowed to meet only once a year on the 7th day of the 7th lunar month of the lunisolar calendar. The date of Tanabata varies by region of the country, but the first festivities begin on July 7th of the Gregorian calendar. The celebration is held at various days between July and August. The most popular story goes as follows. Orihime, the weaving princess, daughter of the Tenkai Sky King, wove beautiful clothes by the bank of the Amanogawa, the Milky Way, or Heavenly River. Her father loved that cloth that she wove, and so she worked very hard every day to weave it. However, Orihime was sad because of her hard work. She could never meet and fall in love with anyone. Concerned about his daughter, Tente arranged for her to meet Hikoboshi, Cowman, or Cowbird star, the boy star. He lived and worked on the other side of the Amanogawa. When the two met and instantly fell in love with each other and married shortly thereafter. However, once married, Orihime would no longer weave cloth for Tente, and Hikoboshi allowed his cows to stray all over heaven. In anger, Tente separated the two lovers across the Amanogawa and forbade them to meet. Orihime became despondent at the loss of her husband and asked her father to let them meet again. Tente was moved by his daughter's tears and allowed the two to meet on the 7th day of the 7th month, if she worked hard and finished her weaving. The first time they tried to meet, however, they found that they could not cross the river because there was no bridge. Orihime cried so much that a flock of magpies came and promised to make a bridge with their wings so that she could cross the river. It is said that if it rains on Tanabata, the magpies cannot come because of the rise of the river, and the two lovers must wait another year to meet. The rain of this day is called the Tears of Orihime and Hikoboshi.